Welcome to the Mindset Chick podcast. If you are looking to stop settling and want to gain the clarity and confidence to manifest the life and biz of your dreams, then this show is for you. I'm your host, Kristi Dear, sharing with you simple yet powerful and effective mindset tips that will allow you to attract more abundance, prosperity, and success into your life. So get ready, get excited, and let's go manifest some amazing things together. Hey, and welcome back to the Mindset Chick podcast. I'm so happy to have you here. And today we have a very special guest, somebody that I'm very excited to introduce you to. Her name is Lizzy Cangro. Lizzy is an author, nutritionist, and wellness coach. She grew up in the same way that many women in the Western world do, consistently criticizing her own body and withholding food. Bad advice from non-experts resulted in an eating disorder for Lizzy that lasted for 10 years. However, after much inner work, Lizzy finally achieved unconditional love for her body, where she speaks about it more in her new book, Reclaim the Rebel. So Lizzy, it's so great to have you on.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for having me on and for your listeners to tuning in.
Yes. Here's the thing with the title. I love that. Shut up your inner mean girl. So I think we all have these voices in our head that sometimes tell us, you can't do this. You're not good enough. Why do you look like that? And I think we all have them. And sometimes it can be hard to shut them off. So how would you suggest somebody start, quieting that inner mean girl?
Yeah. And I think that's a really, really good point to start with, is that we all have an inner mean girl, and sometimes she can be particularly loud. And really the purpose of our inner mean girl is actually, whilst it sounds a little bit counterintuitive, is to keep us safe. But that's not always aligned to us feeling good. So really, I like to think the first step is to actually acknowledge our inner mean girl and say, okay, well, thank you for trying to keep me safe. I'm aware of you and have that awareness, because some of us are so out of touch with what our brains are actually telling us. It becomes very automatic. These negative thoughts that pop into our brain from our inner mean girl, they can feel very natural and very kind of ingrained in our days. But as I say, they're not always aligned to feeling good. So the first step is to really create that acknowledgement of, I hear you, I see you, but this isn't making me feel good. And then the second step is really to find a story or a belief that is more aligned to us feeling good. Because as I like to say to people, what we choose to put into our brains is very similar to what we choose to wear in the mornings, right? So we go to our closet and, we kind of like look at all of our clothes and go, oh, that fits what I want to, feel like today. That's kind of the vibe that I'm feeling. I like that color, or, that's appropriate for the event I'm attending, or whatever it is. And I like to think of it very similar with our thoughts. So we can literally sift through our thoughts and choose a thought that is more aligned to how we want to feel, how we want to go about our days. So once we've done that and we practice, because really, as we said, this is something that we all have and is a result of years and years and years of repetition. So it's not going to be something that is a one and done thing, right? So once we kind of have that system of step one, being aware of our inner mean girl, and step two, choosing a thought or a story or a belief that is more aligned to feeling good, we then I say just because sometimes it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Need to practice. And through that practice, what I find really, really important is to actually give ourselves grace. Because what can happen is inner mean girl comes along and we've been doing this work for a while and we go, oh no, she's back. I thought I dealt with this. And then that in itself can spiral into, why am I not getting this? Why me? And that in itself can become a very negative thing. So the practice of self-compassion itself during this process is so, so important, because, when we're able to practice that self-compassion, give ourselves grace, then we can just move through that inner mean girl moment a lot quicker. And really that's the point, is it's not about getting rid of your inner mean girl. As I said before, she is there to actually kind of serve us. And so she thinks she's serving us and will pop up, in moments to try and keep us safe. It's more about, moving through those moments with ease and grace so that we feel better more easily and more quickly. Because I don't know about you, but I still have inner mean girl moments. So it's not about getting rid of them. It's about how we move through them.
Yes, I love that so much. And what I've come to become aware of is, before, when I would have these thoughts, like the inner mean girl come up, I would suppress them, like, okay, that shouldn't come up. I shouldn't think like that. If I'm on this pathway to be more positive, more mindful, then I shouldn't have these thoughts. And I would, in the beginning, start pushing them down. But what I became aware of is that these thoughts, like you said, are coming up for a reason. And I love that you said that, they want to be heard. So it's like having that awareness and being heard, but then realizing that that's not you, right? That's just a practice. That's just a habit of thought. And you can choose to step into a new story anytime, but not shaming yourself. Like you said, having compassion and realizing, hey, okay, these thoughts are coming up. Why are they coming up? What is it trying to teach me? What is it trying to tell me? And also, I think sometimes those things come up for us to clear and work through. So if they're not coming up, we don't know that maybe we have some subconscious belief that needs to be cleared, worked through, and released and let go so that we can move on to that next level.
100%. I absolutely love that point that you make about it's so easy to try and stuff down our emotions because, either through society or through our upbringing, we're kind of conditioned to be strong or, not show those emotions, those negative emotions in inverted commas. But in doing so, it's actually counterproductive because, as you say, sometimes those emotions or thoughts are coming up so that we can address them and we can grow and evolve and transform our mindset. So in just stuffing them down, what we're really doing is we're just kind of enabling the same patterns to repeat themselves. And actually what I found is that our inner mean girl is kind of like a toddler, right? The more you ignore her, the louder she screams.
Yes, exactly. So sometimes it can be difficult in the beginning. It's kind of like breaking that cycle.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, because, as we were talking about, it's such a, we have so many thoughts in a day, and over so many years, we have this kind of automatic pattern that we have to be very intentional, at least to begin with, in order to break that pattern. And it does require us to have that a little bit of extra effort and mindfulness. But it's like with anything, the more we practice, the easier it gets, and the more automatic the new, more positive beliefs will come to us. I remember when I first started doing this practice, it felt very energetically draining because, I had a very, very loud inner mean girl. As I mentioned in my book, Reclaim a Rebel, I had, years and years of self-abusive thoughts. And so it did take me a while to break some of those patterns. But by having the self-compassion that we spoke about, and the fact that I realized, well, it's been 10, 15 years that I'd had this belief or this thought. Therefore, it will probably take a few tries before I feel differently. But that's not to say that we can also move through these thoughts and beliefs very quickly when we have the right tools.
Absolutely. I love that. And, you talk about intuitive eating and, everything that you went through with having your eating disorder, from not great advice, so you say bad advice, and, ditching the diet, that word diet, it's the word. And when I was a personal trainer, I would talk to people about, instead of saying, hey, we got to go on a diet, I would always talk about a healthy eating plan. And just changing that language, is so much more empowering, and realizing that it's like, it's a choice. Like, you can choose to eat healthy or you can choose not to. So like putting that power, like empowering somebody and even changing the language. So why do you think that intuitive eating is so much more powerful and impactful than saying, I'm going on a diet?
Yeah. And I love that point that you just made about, the power of our words and the power of our language. There's a phrase that I really love from Florence Scovel Shinn that says, "Your word is your wand." I'm a Harry Potter fan.
I love her. I listened to her. That's amazing. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. And she has such, this was written, 100 years ago, but
1900s, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of her wisdom is so applicable for today. And that's one of my favorites that she shares is that your word is your wand. And so, I think that's a really, really great point. And switching the way that we talk about ourselves, the way that we talk about how we nourish our bodies. Diet is a 4-letter word I don't really resonate with, but being able to nourish our bodies and trust our guts is very important to me. And the reason why that is because the diet industry is yet another source of, in addition to our inner mean girl, of this limiting belief that we're not good enough, right? So we have the diet industry saying, take our supplement, do our program, lose weight, eat more healthily, and then you'll be good enough. And then that works in tandem with our own inner mean girl that's saying you're not good enough. And really, it sets up a very negative cycle of always needing to be in the diet industry in order to feel good enough. But you're never going to feel good enough because they're always going to be trying to sell you a product. And so what I love about intuitive eating or mindful eating, people kind of describe it in different ways. But what I really appreciate about it is that we're actually taking our own power back and saying, no, I trust my own body with my food decisions and how I nourish myself. So we're taking the power away from the diet industry and saying, actually, I'm going to listen to my own body. What does my own body need? Because our bodies are just so sophisticated and elegant at telling us what we need. I mean, from something as basic as, our hunger signals to when women are on their period and, we crave chocolate, there's actually a good reason behind it. And so what I really love about, as I say, intuitive or mindful eating is the fact that we're actually letting our bodies have a say again and taking that power away from the diet industry and empowering our own selves to listen to our bodies.
Yeah, that's really good. And it's also bringing you closer with yourself, like building that relationship with yourself as well, because people can get into that habit of eating. Oh, it's 8 a.m. I'm eating now, or it's 10 a.m. I'm eating now, or, associating like, oh, I'm watching TV. Now I need to have a snack, or I'm walking in the door. I need to eat something. And so it's kind of getting out of that habit of just emotionally eating or eating as a habit and like really listening to your body. I learned this a long time ago that helped me when I was on my healthy eating journey after my 3 babies, to get back into feeling good again. I would ask myself, okay, does an apple sound good? And if it sounded good, then I knew, okay, I was hungry. But if it didn't sound good, I was like, oh, I really want to eat something. Does an apple sound good? No. Then I was maybe just wanting to eat for the habit.
That's such a great technique and so effective, but also so simple. I feel like, we try and make things harder than they actually are. So something like that is such an easy and powerful tool that we can use to start to tune into our bodies and really kind of consider, is this something that my body is asking for? Or is this something that I think it's asking for? Or I'm using as, I don't know, a way of numbing out or expressing another emotion that I have. So I think that's a great tool. I really like the idea of like rating our hunger on a scale of 1 to 10, because everybody's kind of gauge is going to be different. But if we kind of, have our own way of knowing, okay, so, I'm feeling a little bit hungry, I'm at like a 5, I can start maybe thinking about eating something in the next, hour or so, versus being absolutely starving and not actually listening to our body. And that's something that we can just practice over time, just implement, and it's personalized to us.
Yeah, that's really good. Getting to know yourself. I love the hunger gauge because that's so important. So what would you say, because some people could be listening right now going, okay, I feel like I am maybe listening to my body and my body is telling me like, I want a big old cheeseburger and cheese fries and a Coke. And, every time I'm hungry, I'm thinking about chips or sweets or something like that. So if I'm listening to my body, that's what my body is telling me. But then I know in my head, I need to eat more healthy. So how would somebody maybe go from trying to like listen to their body, but also trying to eat more healthfully, if that makes sense?
Absolutely. And that's such a great question. And I think the point is that it's not about depriving ourselves of the food that we absolutely love. And it's okay sometimes to have a cheeseburger and milkshake, but also sometimes we want to eat kind of a healthier option. And so what I like to do is I like to think of it as like a pyramid. So we've got on the bottom of the pyramid, the basic option, in the middle, the better option, and then at the top, the best option in terms of our health. And sometimes we might take the basic option. Other times we might move up the pyramid and have the better option. And then sometimes we'll move up the pyramid and have the best option. And again, it's not necessarily saying that you're being good for choosing the best option. It's just the healthier option. So we can replace those words if we want. And so, we can always, if we're craving a cheeseburger, but we want to take the better option for our health, we could replace the fries that go with the cheeseburger with a salad or some new potatoes as opposed to fried potatoes. We could take the beef burger and change it to a turkey patty and just kind of make these small swaps that change the nutritional value of our meal so that we don't feel deprived, but we're also fueling our body with all of the nutrients that we need. And again, it's not necessarily saying that we always have to choose the healthiest option or that we always have to choose, the less healthy option. It's kind of, again, being in tune with what your body needs and making the choice that is right for you. And I love how earlier you were talking about really it is a choice, and taking responsibility for how we nourish our bodies is so, so important. And just actually enjoying the food because so many of us can just hate what we're doing. And, I'm a nutritionist and I dislike green salad. And so that's not going to make me happy. But, yeah.
I love all that. And, you talk about balance too. And that's something that's really, really helped me because like I mentioned before, if I ever saw like, oh my gosh, I got to go on a diet, I got to restrict myself, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. It's basically like beating up on yourself. Like you're not good enough. You need to lose weight. Like I feel like all those thoughts start kind of trickling down when you're like, I got to go on a diet. I got to restrict myself. But mine now, I feel like I'm 45 now. And I'm like, I feel like it was up and down so much more in my 20s. And especially as a trainer, I just felt like I had to look and eat perfect. Mm-hmm. But balancing now. And so for me, I love that you said it's that balance, maybe replacing the fries or doing something different. And for my husband and I, what I like to do if I'm craving a cheeseburger is I love to wrap it with lettuce. And then sometimes I don't want the fries. Like I'm not even craving them. But if I am, then I'm like, oh, I'm going to eat a few fries, right? But I'm kind of trading out the bread and I'm wrapping it in lettuce, or we'll have like healthier options. Like the other day we had some broccoli tater tots.
Ooh.
And I'm like, these are actually good. But, it's also like we talked about before, getting in that habit and, just being balanced. And then yesterday, I don't normally eat a lot of sweets and I watch my carbs and I eat more, lean and protein. But yesterday we went to a restaurant and I saw this like a little packaged cherry pie. And I was like, I'm getting that. I am getting that. And I'm not even going to beat up on myself about it like I maybe used to in the past. And I'm going to eat that. And that's totally fine. And I'm living my life in balance. And it just felt so much better.
Yeah. And it makes the whole of life so much more enjoyable because you're not wasting your time. First of all, going backwards and forwards, oh, should I have this? Should I not have it? And then, after having your cherry pie going, oh, I shouldn't have had that. Or, it takes so much mental energy. And also, you're not enjoying the moment of that delicious cherry pie. So we had our wedding reception this past weekend and, I'm going to have that chocolate brownie or two because that's just, that's living your life and having, the food that you enjoy with the people that you enjoy. but also having that balance of, all right, well, maybe, when I get back home, my body might start craving some more fruit and vegetables because it is so sophisticated that if we start trusting it, it will kind of equilibrate, if that's a word, but it will kind of balance out. And for example, after Thanksgiving, I know that my cravings change, the types of food that my body wants does change because we've had kind of maybe heavier meals. So it does know what to do. We just need to trust our bodies.
Yeah, I love that. So Lizzie, what is a great quote or mantra that you love to live by?
Okay, that one's really easy because I'm literally looking at it. I have it on a Post-it note above my desk, and that is, I am valuable.
Ooh, and that's it. I am valuable, right?
Yes.
Love it.
I just love it because it's really a matter of self-worth and knowing that all of the kind of external stuff is not going to shake me, either the positive or the negative. People's judgments aren't good or bad, aren't going to affect me. And it's a great reminder of my intrinsic worth and my value. So I have that above my desk.
I love that. That's so good and so simple. I am valuable. I love that. And so your book, Reclaim the Rebel, is out now, correct?
Mm-hmm. Awesome. It is indeed. Yes.
Where can people find that?
So it's available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble in both paperback and ebook. And so if any of your listeners are interested in purchasing a copy, head to reclaimtherebel.com and pick up a copy there as well.
Awesome. And they can connect with you, I guess, more on that site too, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
That's cool. I can't wait to check out your book and read it. It sounds amazing. I really enjoyed all your wisdom and nuggets and having this conversation with you. I think it's so, so important.
Likewise. Thank you so much again for having me.
And remember, friend, to dream big, follow your heart, and never give up on you because you're worth it. Thank you for joining me today on the Mindset Chick podcast. I hope this show has you waking up every morning excited about the new manifestations you have created in your life. And if you would honor me with a 5-star review over in iTunes, I will happily enter your name in my Mindset Chick swag giveaway. Make sure you add your name to the review and I will reach out to you if you're the winner. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. Be sure to visit me at mindsetchick.com for past episodes and more gifts that will help you to manifest your dreams into reality.